Hello everyone, I'm Kirill Gavriluk, General Manager for Azure Cosmos DB and Postgres, and today I am excited to welcome you to our annual Azure Cosmos DB Conf 2023. Woohoo! Cosmos DB is all about developers, right? That's why it exists. And developers write apps, and the apps have changed. When you and I went to school, many of us have been building apps like what we see on the left side, which is we write the UI, the user tells something to UI, the UI puts some data into database. The user tells app what to do. The new apps, the apps that the customers want to build today, the app tells the user what to do. The data is gushing into the database. Then the database triggers all kinds of processes, all kinds of microservices within the app. And those microservices are driving the experience to provide contextual, real-time experience to the customer, predicting what they want and telling them what they really want. The app is no longer an augmentation to the business. The app is the business. So it's by definition mission critical. So what do these apps want, right? These apps are all data-driven. They're not UI-driven. They're all about massive data volumes at high velocity, frequently changing data. The apps is the business, so the apps are by definition mission critical. They cannot go down. They cannot even experience a blip during cloud upgrade or anything. And this use case where it's data-driven, the data triggers the experience. It is not limited anymore to just IoT, or it is everywhere, in every vertical, every use case. That's what we see today. It's the same application pattern. So what database do these apps need? Azure Cosmos DB is one such database. It is designed, built from the ground up in the cloud for these type of apps. It is serverless by design. There is no server out there. It physically does not exist. It provides you guaranteed speed and performance at any scale, thanks to this horizontal scale-out, horizontal elasticity, limitless elasticity, and is able to achieve the best TCO while doing so. It originated as a NoSQL database, but recently we added relational because this pattern of high scale, high volume is no longer limited to NoSQL. Relational world wants the same. The scenarios that want rich queries, distributed transactions, they still want scale. No one can live anymore within the constraints of a single virtual machine. Cosmos DB offers open source APIs. We believe in open source. We provide you open source Postgres, and it is true Postgres. It's actually a Postgres engine running. It is not an emulation of some sort. Cosmos DB offers MongoDB API, Cassandra API. We offer a very flexible, schemaless NoSQL stack. We also offer Postgres, where you don't have to scale out necessarily. You can use it as a Postgres database, and it's just Postgres, 100% with all the extensions that you want, or you can scale out and benefit from this limitless distribution and distributed query. Cosmos DB is known for reliability, for these 5 nines SLAs that it gives. Thanks to the global distribution, we can move your data anywhere where your customers are. We can also make by globally replicating your data, we provide you these 5 nines availability and very fast failover. Finally, Cosmos DB provides you real-time analytics thanks to integration with Synapse Link. Whether you want Spark or SQL interface, you can get real-time analytical insights into your data as it's coming into the database in real time. Now, what do customers do with Cosmos DB? It turns out any of you probably do not live a day without interacting with Cosmos DB. We wake up, we order coffee from Starbucks, goes through the Cosmos DB. We join a meeting using our favorite remote meeting software, whether it's Teams or the other very popular meeting software, all use Cosmos DB. We go order groceries for lunch, likely uses Cosmos DB. We go and order. We're running short on our clothes. We go to Walmart.com or your favorite e-commerce retailer. likely uses Cosmos DB. Finally, we relax at the end of the day to our favorite music from our favorite music streaming service. Many of them use Cosmos DB. In your given day, you're probably spending at least 4 to 5 hours interacting with Cosmos DB. Now, in terms of the patterns, application patterns, we pull this from our product telemetry. This is actually literally a query from our telemetry with some creative machine models that did some inference based on the shape, based on the names of the table, databases, shapes, etc., shapes of the data. We get this list of these as the top 25 use cases. As you can see, a lot of it is about real time. A lot of it is about this cloud-native application pattern that deals with events, like the event store pattern. A lot of it is about AI with bot and chats that are built. Many of them are built with Cosmos DB, with a real-time user data and insights and segmentation on it. Retail, IoT, banking. The verticals are pretty much any vertical has these patterns, has these scenarios, and is using Cosmos DB. Cosmos DB is known for scale, right? That's how it was designed. So if you're interacting with Teams, for example, all of the messages, everything you ever did with Teams or the user profile, that all stored in Cosmos DB. It's trillions of transactions per day, petabytes of data, ever growing. Second biggest world e-commerce website, Walmart.com. All transactions there, all are in Cosmos DB. There is a very nice blog by Walmart explaining how they build it. Healthcare, very cool. Customers creating petabyte plus size databases, and the Cosmos DB team doesn't even know about it anymore. They just get created. It is known for its scale. ChatGPT is a great example. Like OpenAI was probably the fastest known startup to grow to 100 million monthly active users, right? And they're using Cosmos DB for messages and inputs, like it's very well-known fact. They're running on Azure. Cosmos DB did not even have a blip from this, right? It's known for its scale. It's really good at fast, instant scale as your business grows. Now, with that, let me introduce a customer and hear from them how Music Tribe is helping musicians around the world with Cosmos DB.
Hi, my name is Tiago. I'm the head of cloud and platforms at Music Tribe. Music Tribe is a global company made up of 12 different brands. Music Tribe empowers creators in different scenarios, such as live sound, home and professional studio recording, gaming, podcasts, and online streaming. And we are now doing that on Microsoft Azure. The migration went according to plan. The preparation took us a bit longer because of our lack of experience with Microsoft Azure. But with Microsoft support, we got the guidance we needed to migrate with no impact to our customers. Music Tribe made a strategic bet on Microsoft's tech stack. So the move to Microsoft Azure was natural to us, but we needed to make sure this is the right choice for our short-term and long-term goals. In the short term, this would mean that we would migrate to Azure and continue to offer the same level of service to our customers. In the long term, this would mean that we'll be able to reach a much larger customer base distributed globally and leveraging the scalable architecture defined by Microsoft in partnership with us. With Cosmos DB, we could increase the presence globally and improve the service we offer to our customers by leveraging Cosmos DB multi-region rights. Also, we now run multiple environments that scale on demand, allowing us to optimize costs of our data infrastructure. And last, the team is now exploring new ways of building asynchronous capabilities using Cosmos DB Change Feed to offer easier integrations with other platforms.
Well, thank you, Music Tribe. Now, what's new in Cosmos DB? Let's talk about, a year has passed since we last talked to you at this conference. A lot of improvements in Cosmos DB scale, elasticity, and high availability. Specifically for Cosmos DB scale, we released in general availability burstable capacity. So you no longer have to provision to the max of your RU consumption at every given partition. If any partition decides to burst, you get it for free. You don't have to provision for bursts. We offer you partition merge. So if you're ingesting a lot of data up front at the beginning, for example, and then want to kind of shrink to get to the footprint in Cosmos DB that your steady state, partition merge is a great way to do that. We're offering a larger serverless collections. Serverless has been super popular. Actually, like autoscale and serverless now account for roughly 70% of our overall usage of the database. And they're just all serverless, they're just for different type of scenarios. And now the serverless, where you pay per request, those collections are now can grow up to 1 terabytes. And after that, you can transition to autoscale, which is a serverless, but is optimized for higher volume and higher transaction volume. Another cool thing that is coming out and we're announcing today is MongoDB API gets a facelift with vCore capacity mode. Now let me step back. MongoDB API has been a very popular flavor of Cosmos DB. The reason is MongoDB is very popular, and Cosmos DB stack is providing very differentiated, strong capabilities around scale, this instant scale, transparent horizontal, and transparent partition management. So that fuels the growth of MongoDB API. Now, for many MongoDB scenarios, developers are used to large shards. They're used to a notion of core CPU, 1 CPU, 2 CPUs. So the Cosmos DB native concept of request units has been, let's say, not very familiar to them. vCore capacity mode solves this. You will get familiar settings. How many vCores do you want per shard? You can scale out, just like with Cosmos DB RU, so you can scale out and add as many physical shards as you want. But you're paying for it in vCores. You provision, you plan your capacity in terms of vCores. Your shards can be large, any size of the VM that we have in stock. So it's very familiar to MongoDB developers and still retains that value of Cosmos DB over this transparent shard management. It provides much higher compatibility. And it's a very fast solution. It's great for lifting and shifting your MongoDB applications, right? Great for writing new applications, provides you high performance, low TCO, and it's very fast at rich queries. So new capacity mode in MongoDB API, and simultaneously with that, we're releasing support for version 6.0 of MongoDB. We're offering you 2 architectures, 2 capacity modes, request units, vCore. Request units are great at this instant and limitless elasticity, right? That's kind of a Cosmos DB native value add. vCore capacity mode is great at higher compatibility, higher shard size, more familiar, better at your cost planning. You're paying for instances, you're paying for disks. It looks a lot more familiar than request units to MongoDB developers. Developers. Cosmos DB is all about developers, right? And we cannot get tired but to provide more and more and better support for our developers. We're providing a good, broad investments around better drivers, in a lot of investments in Java driver, in .NET, in Node, in Go. Atypical to Microsoft, actually, a lot of features show up first in Java driver for Cosmos DB. We're investing a lot in the ecosystem with Spark, improvements to Spark, support for 3.3, Azure Active Directory support, Kafka connector got improvements, support for merge is now part of all these SDKs, the support for multi-tenant applications, which is footprint of multi-tenant applications in Cosmos DB is growing every day. We're providing capabilities in the SDK around hierarchical partition keys, faster, richer queries. These are both on backend side and SDK side. So better drivers, better integration. Security. Cosmos DB is enterprise-grade software. Lots of mission-critical, highly secure, sensitive data is running on Cosmos DB. We're providing you customer-managed keys now for existing accounts, for multi-tenant applications running on Cosmos DB, where you can provision a different key per tenant, HSM support, network security perimeter in preview. It is enterprise-grade and secure by default. Now, Last fall, we also announced a new member of the family of Cosmos DB, Postgres. We added a relational API to Cosmos DB. And it was different from our original approach to the APIs. This is actual 100% Postgres. That is not an emulation. It is Postgres that comes with some 50+ Postgres extensions. It is fully 100% compatible. It's just Postgres for uncharted data. And because it's part of Cosmos DB, it also supports scale out. And of course, once you scale out your table, then some of those capabilities of Postgres may not make a lot of sense, like global index for high scale out, maybe not the best design pattern, but you get ACID transactions, you get support for primary foreign keys, all of that is maintained as you scale out. Rich data types, rich queries. We offer you local and global replication alongside with it. And it's important, is just like the NoSQL Cosmos DB offering, it provides you online scaling. So application does not notice when we are scaling out your Cosmos DB Postgres database. We provide you fairly sophisticated support for multi-tenant applications. You can isolate tenants to a dedicated capacity within your Cosmos DB Postgres database. You can easily move tenants, accommodate for spikes, hot tenants. There is a fairly extensive tenant management with distributed Postgres in Cosmos DB. Now, this winter, we announced additional improvements to Cosmos DB for Postgres, online scale-out, hot tenant rebalancing, burstable capacity, significantly lowering the entry price. So now you can come in and for $10, you can get Cosmos DB for Postgres. There is also a free tier, no commitment, no sign up for Azure is required. Just try Cosmos DB. You can search it using your favorite search engine and click on Try Cosmos DB and choose Postgres API. It's free of charge, infinite renewals, and you get full power of Cosmos DB for Postgres. You don't even need to sign up for Azure. And finally, we're starting to add more and more enterprise-grade capabilities to this stack. So we're adding Cosmos Customer Managed Keys. We're going to add Azure Active Directory very shortly, as this is very common in the enterprise scenarios. Now, to our second guest. This is actually very close to Microsoft, our own LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of the top websites in the world. It requires superior reliability, top performance to provide the user experience LinkedIn users are accustomed to. It's one of the world top apps. And let's hear from LinkedIn how they achieve performance and reliability with Cosmos DB for their user interface.
Hi, I'm Ankit Gupta. I'm Principal Software Engineer at LinkedIn, and I am the tech lead for the team which builds Enterprise Platform as a Service offering. So my team builds a Platform as a Service offering for enterprise customers that provides exploratory access to economic graph data of LinkedIn. And Cosmos DB is the key part in this technical stack. And the NoSQL solution from Cosmos DB is primarily used for key value lookups. This Platform as a Service offering provides an exploratory economic graph API, which is used by a variety of products, such as Outlook People Card, in which you can find details of LinkedIn profile for your contacts in Outlook. So fully managed offering, single-digit response times, high availability, and ability to scale to any workload, be it in the query workload size or the data size. These are some of the many features that attracted us to use Cosmos DB and why we have been using it for the last 5 years. But beyond the functional features, a true testament to any stateful system is how quickly the system and the team can react to operational issues. And Cosmos DB team, time and again, have demonstrated that they can respond very quickly to operational issues, have the due diligence to find the root causes and fix those issues in a timely manner. And that has been the case multiple number of times in the last 5 years.
You're going to learn a ton at Cosmos DB Conference 2023. We're going to talk about best practices, new features, lots of new exciting announcements in Cosmos DB. We're going to talk about apps and scenarios that Cosmos DB enables, Cosmos DB is the database for apps, for developers. We're here for you. Thank you.